From the Broadway Rose Theater in the heart of downtown Tigard, the City of Tigard and TVC TV present Late Night in Tigard. Tonight's guest stars, Tigard Police Chief Cathy McAlpine, and helping to build a unified intercultural movement for justice across Oregon, the Outreach Coordinator for Unite Oregon, Woolfolk Alcatan. Please welcome your host, Mayor Jason Snider.
Welcome to Late Night in Tigard, the 2020 State of the City Address. I want to welcome my first guest, Woolfolk Alcatan. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much. So I want to chat for a minute about the work that you've been helping Tigard do. Would you mind telling us exactly what you and Unite Oregon have been doing to help the city of Tigard?
The first project we had with Tigard City is through Southwest Corridor.
The Southwest Corridor Max Line project, yeah?
Exactly. And the fear that people might face displacement. So we had to gather communities from different communities that might be affected by the Southwest Corridor. Meetings were held in St. Anthony Church. There were 50 to 60 people for each meetings. And they got the knowledge of what's meant by Southwest Corridor. After several meetings, they came up with a letter addressed to Tigard City and to Metro, and the route was changed and avoid some of the damage that caused.
Some of the impacts?
Impacts, yeah, exactly.
So did you feel like that was a success when that moment happened?
Yeah.
That was exactly what the kinds of impacts you were trying to have?
Of course.
So I'm going to read a couple of our city council goals to you, and I want to ask you for your advice. So we have a couple goals that are related to these kinds of things. Goal 2.1 is to ensure that the Tigard Triangle urban renewal investments promote equitable development and create a vibrant, walkable, and connected district. That's one goal. Another goal, goal 4.4, is to promote an inclusive, open-minded, and progressive community and to implement initiatives to improve city services and participation that captures the diversity of the community and improves equity and inclusion. So real simple, easy to do things, right? Okay. What kind of advice do you have for me and for the city of Tigard in implementing those two pretty audacious goals?
Well, Unite Oregon, they had gathered people and promoted people for meetings for the Tigard, development of a Tigard Triangle. Several meetings from different communities of Tigard came and they had shared their ideas, their vision, and their needs.
So your advice would be to continue that kind of work?
Exactly. With Unite Oregon and Momentum Alliance, we had trained 16 people, 8 adults and 8 youth. Those people were trained on the Southwest Corridor acknowledgement and displacement and participatory budgeting. They had several group work, and they came out with some information and some ideas that might benefit our communities.
I want to thank you very much for being here today. Really appreciate chatting with you about Tigard and how you and your organization have helped us move forward with the Southwest Corridor. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and it's my pleasure.
And up next, we went out onto the streets of Tigard for some May walking. What's your name?
Chris Lloyd.
And where do you live?
In Tigard.
You live in Tigard. What's your favorite thing about Tigard?
The community. We've got a wonderful neighborhood, a wonderful coffee shop where it's kind of like Cheers. Everybody knows your name.
What's your favorite thing about Tigard?
It's the small community feeling, and it's not like, you get in Beaverton or, definitely not Portland.
So you like Tigard better than Beaverton?
Absolutely.
Take that, Mayor Doyle. You live in Tigard?
I do.
All right. And what are you doing in downtown Tigard today?
Well, I'm supporting Small Business Saturday today.
What brought you to downtown Tigard today?
We came to get the dog groomed at Ultimate Dog Grooming. Yeah.
And where do you live?
We live in Sherwood, so not too
Okay.
far away.
I love that you chose to come to downtown Tigard instead of downtown Sherwood. Take that, Mayor Mays. Can I ask you a couple Tigard trivia questions?
Fire away.
So how many police officers do you think are on duty right now in the city of Tigard?
On duty right now, 24.
How many police officers do you think are on duty right now in Tigard?
30.
30 officers?
Yes.
I'm gonna guess 32.
It's got to be over 100.
100 officers?
Let's say 100.
80.
80?
No, probably 15.
25.
There's about 54,000 people that live in Tigard. How many officers?
100?
100 officers? Would you be surprised to learn that it's 3?
That would be surprising.
Would it be concerning to you, especially if they needed to respond to more than one major incident at a time?
It'd probably be exciting if I was a criminal, but yeah, it's a concern to me.
Would you be surprised to learn there's like 3 or 4 on duty right now?
Oh, absolutely.
3.
Yeah, 3.
That's a low number.
Would you be surprised to learn there's 3 officers on duty right now?
Yes.
Oh, that was a big jaw drop.
Yes.
So 3 seems
Really low.
really tiny.
Really
Yeah.
tiny.
That is a problem. We would need more officers on duty. I
Okay.
run a child care facility, and
If you
I
need
mean,
help,
we
you
need
want help.
We need help.
Yeah.
It's disappointing because you always like to see your community officers out and about in as many touch points as possible. So as big as the city of Tigard is, it'd be nice to see them upstaffed a little bit to where they can be more places more consistently.
What brought you to downtown Tigard today?
Well, I'm the owner of Curiosities Vintage Mall down here on Main Street.
So have you seen the downtown gateway art in Tigard?
I have not seen that
You
yet.
have not seen it. You might, if we look this way, you just might, oh, you could see it right there. You see it there?
Yes,
What do you think of the art?
I think it's beautiful. Yeah, it
Now
really,
that you just saw it. How about the downtown gateway art? Have you seen the art
Yes,
at the
it's
entry?
pretty.
Yeah, what do you like most about it?
I thought it was a tulip. Found out that it was a filbert
Yeah.
blossom.
Do you like the new colors? Have you seen the
Yes, I like
yeah?
the new colors better than the old color.
Yeah, how would you describe the old color?
Purple.
Purple. And the
A
new
puke purple.
puke purple. Okay.
I love the new green color on the tulips. Or
Okay.
they're hazelnut blossoms?
Hazelnut
Yes.
blossoms, yes. What do you think of the new colors?
Oh, I think this is much better.
You like it much better?
Yes.
What do you think of the old colors?
Weird.
I always mispronounce it. Is it the coralus? Is that right? The
Coralus, yeah.
the hazelnut blossom.
Yeah.
So as I study that online, I do see that pink was one of the colors of that blossom in its natural form, but I don't think it was Pepto-Bismol pink.
You study hazelnut blossoms online? You must have a really interesting life.
I do. I'm a little nerdy that way.
Do you have any feedback, things the new mayor could do differently?
The biggest one is changing the color of the flower back to purple.
Do you have any feedback for the city on what we should be doing in the next year, different or better?
Like every part of the city, deal with traffic.
Deal with traffic, you got any innovative ideas for that?
I wish I did. If I did, I'd have your job.
I got to compliment you on your beard. I don't like who's got the better beard. Do you want to give us a judge on the who's got the better beard?
I mean, I have to go with my husband there.
Oh, what advice do you have for the new mayor of Tigard? You might know who he is.
We have a new mayor? I think.
Wait, hold on. You study
Hazelnut.
hazelnut blossoms, and you are the president of the Tigard Downtown Alliance, but you don't know who the mayor is.
I do know who the mayor is.
Do you have any feedback for the mayor? Do you have any advice for the new mayor of Tigard?
Yeah, make lots of friends.
Make lots of friends.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, talk to the.
Any particular way of doing that?
Well, wander around on the street and talk to people.
So like doing something like we're doing right now, walking around?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think hearing more from the common man, the common person, let's say.
Are you a common person?
I think so.
Should I listen to you?
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Am I the mayor of
Depends on
Tigard?
who you talk to. Could be.
After that interesting discussion about how many police officers we have on duty, I want to welcome our next guest, Tigard Police Chief Cathy McAlpine. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mayor, for having me. Appreciate it.
What do you think when you watch that Maywalking video and you've got people, what was the range there was like 15 to 100 officers? What's your reaction to that?
In some ways you want to chuckle and laugh because it is so far out there.
But it's
right?
also not so funny.
But it's not, because I too have been out in the community doing that outreach, and I have heard the same projections from 25 to a very straight-faced 100 officers. And so, which is great that the community feels safe and they think that we're out there. And for all those criminals out there, I hope you still think there's 100 officers out there, but that's not the reality. At least 40% of the time, we're really only at 3 officers or 4. And as you alluded to, when there's 2 major incidents, sometimes we cannot control both scenes at the same time, and that becomes a huge challenge.
It's not safe to do so, right?
No, it's not, because you need your backup when those priorities. You should not go head first, but sometimes those life safety issues require us to, and that's not a sustainable method for doing that.
I also was a little concerned as I did a ride along. I had Officer Wakeham on last year, and she asked me to go on a ride along, and I agreed to do that, and I did. And I was struck by how much overtime the officers are working that in patrol who maybe don't necessarily want to be working that much overtime. You have any comment there?
Sure. I mean, officer wellness is huge. That's gotten national attention. And when you talk about the volume of officers committing suicides at a high rate is astronomical. But there's plenty of studies there that talk about the wellness, the ability to decompress, not only on a day off, but also in between calls. And again, fortunately, we've been able to fill the overtime by those who volunteer. When you get to a mandatory, that's when you really are pushing the limits. And it's far more healthier for our officers to be able to have their proper days off, the proper time in between calls. Because you can imagine if you went to a very traumatic incident, maybe a child was injured or you lost a loved one, and we cannot have the time we've just taken in all that emotion, we've controlled the scene, and now I have to go right here to a burglary. And okay, it's not a life safety issue, but it's very, very important to that homeowner who feels violated, and the officer may not be as empathetic or may just be trying to get the information. And so
they're tired at the I noticed they were tired at the end of the shift. So when I did my ride along, one of the officers, one of the 3 on shift, had started 4 hours early, so I was supposed to start in the morning, and she'd already been on duty since 3 in the morning, coming in early, and then one of the other officers that was on was staying late, and it just struck me as concerning.
You can be concerned about fatigue and officer safety, and just as you pace yourself then, and so maybe you're just going to go ahead and wait for the next call as opposed to now I want to be out there a little bit more and see what I can see out there. So yeah, it definitely nothing becomes it's not a good thing, and it's not sustainable. For the community out there that's listening, I would tell you I'm ringing the bell. Okay, I'm sending
What
the
do you mean by
signal.
that? Be clear.
Very clear, yes. I'm telling you that there's an erosion of service, that there is a concern, and I'm trying to make a wake-up call. So not today or tomorrow, you're not going to see the city fall apart or anything like that, but erosion, as you can imagine, if not addressed, it just slowly creeps out there.
And we've been eroding for a long time.
That is correct. And when we're adding 1,200 more calls for service with actually fewer officers, and we don't get those additional officers from a community, it may take months to a year, but then all of a sudden you're going to wake up and go, how did Tigard get this way? For me,
I would argue we're already kind of there.
Yes.
I know it's a judgment call, but
right. Well, and I'm going mostly by the perception of the community when saying, I feel safe, which is great, or I think there's a lot of officers, so they may not be impacted yet. But for those folks, I'm telling you, there's a lot going on that our officers are responding to. And without the additional support, you're also, not only the burnout, but our ability to retain, because everybody around us is hiring
You just
law
lost an
enforcement
officer, right?
I
You
did.
lost another officer
Yes.
to another jurisdiction?
That is correct, and we have a couple others looking. So the officers know that the community supports them, but they also want to see that in getting additional bodies. So that support needs to, not a thank you always, which is it was greatly appreciated, and keep that up, but also the support, and we recognize you're overworked, and we're going to get the necessary bodies that you need.
What's it cost us from your kind of perspective when we lose an officer, both financially and then operationally? What is the impact?
Well, it can take 18 to 24 months to from the time somebody applies to all of the background, onboarding, training, getting the equipment. There's probably like a $350,000, and no, that's not what officers get paid. So
No, but
we wish
between the training, the commitment financially
Exactly.
to get them to where they can be
Right.
on the road by themselves.
Right.
That's that number.
And when you're losing more senior officers, the 5 to 7 years on, there's a value of that where they're very seasoned. They need very little supervision. If you're always onboarding new officers, you're always in that green area and slower, and they've got to learn some things. And so the balance of experienced officers to those that you're the newer ones is also important.
I always worry about, and I see this in a variety of industries, and I think, Amazon pays people to quit, and part of why they do that, and it really applies here too, is that you end up in a situation where the only people that stay are the people that didn't have options to go elsewhere, and that's not really the police agency that I want to aspire the city of Tigard to be.
No, and again, I would want to assure everybody that there are plenty of very dedicated officers that desire. They want to serve and protect in Tigard, and they'll stay here.
But they
they're
want to feel
just
supported.
asking.
They want to feel
Absolutely.
supported.
They just want the other resources. They want to know that they have a partner to back them up, but they also want to know that, hey, I can follow up on this investigation, or I can write a proper report and know that somebody else is covering my district.
So I know you were out of town for the State of the City last year, but I shared a dumb criminal story. I don't know if you heard about that from my time when I was a reserve officer.
I did.
You spent lots of years in patrol and in detectives, right?
33 years.
Yeah, so tell us your best, but try to be brief. It doesn't have to be if it's super entertaining.
Right.
But
No pressure there.
Yeah, no pressure there.
Okay.
Tell us a great dumb criminal story from your time.
Okay, I'm gonna share this one because it is the most impactful. So when you think about, I can tell it again 33 years later, it left its impression. So in Tacoma, East Side, lot of shootings, a lot of gang activity. But my partner and I, we were called to just a noisy party parking problem. No problem. We're just rolling.
That's how it came in.
That's how it came in.
Noisy party parking problem.
Yes.
Okay.
And as we're
Seems kind of benign.
It is, but as we're driving, then we hear that now it's kind of escalated, and the homeowner's out in the front yard, and now we're hearing shots fired.
Oh, getting serious quick.
It is, and so we're responding a little quicker now. We get there, the neighbors say, yeah, the guy in that house, he just shot some fire, shot his gun up in the air. Okay, and again, it's just my partner and I. So we go, knock on the door, fatal funnel, so we're kind of beside the porch.
Hold on, you got to translate fatal funnel.
Okay, in
for
the door.
Masses. I know what you're
yes.
meaning, but yeah, you
in
don't want to stand
door,
in
you don't
front
want
of
to
the
stand in
doorway.
front of the door,
Yeah.
and so we're standing on the sides, and he opens the door, and he goes like this to the side. It's the side I'm on. I can see that there is a pouch, something of that nature. So I tell my partner, he may be reaching for a gun. He sees us, tries to back out into the house. We obviously don't want him to shut the door on us, so we tackle him. We get him under control.
You do the usual, tackle him, take him down.
But the concerning part was when the dust settled, we find out that it is a mini Meg light, a black mini Meg light. And what he had done was he had gone out. He was frustrated with this other party, people parking in front of his house. So his way of handling the situation was to take this mini Meg light, so the backside looked like the barrel of a gun, and he had a CD of gun noises, gunshots. So he played the CD, and he pointed this at people.
So he was doing some theater.
He was, and the adrenaline was so, I mean, the pucker factor.
You guys almost took him out, probably, right?
Yes, and so needless to say, I was not happy with him, and I made him go get evaluated at a hospital, even though I know, you know, he wasn't. But you were going to get evaluated by a doctor because of your sheer stupidity on how you handled this. But and the fact that
it's one thing to do that when you're like at the beginning when you're trying to intimidate your neighbors, right? But it's another thing to be putting your hand down by your waist while a couple of Tacoma police officers are standing there.
Yeah, so
different
you know,
scenario.
just again, the sheer stupidity of what this could have, the outcome could have been, just any slightly different variables. And so as a young officer at that time, I was just, the adrenaline, the reality when the dust settled of how close we came to possibly shooting this guy over nothing was completely ludicrous to me.
Chief, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to come chat with me today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor. Pleasure's all mine.
Good to see you. And up next, I learned a number of things in my first year as mayor, and I'm going to share them with you in a top 10 list. All right, number 10. People will show up on a Tuesday night in January to listen to me speak. Did I mention you may have to pay a cover charge to get out of the building tonight? Number 9. I was a guest on the Lars Larson show. It was an interesting experience. I'm not sure objective and fair would be the way I would describe it, but it was interesting. And when talking about TriMet and the Max line, I learned Lars is not a big fan. Number 8, I receive a lot of unique gifts. Anyone have any ideas for this 16-foot painted branch? Which I must say, I appreciate the gift. Number 7, if you share your phone number, people will call. I've been invited to more than 50 community events, including barbecues, reunions, and Hanukkah celebrations, and even a 100th birthday. On the downside, I've also been invited to wire $50,000 to 53 different princes. That said, I can still be reached at 503-810-0269. Number 6, I don't think everyone likes me. Mayor Snider, you're pathetic. Thanks for ensuring Tigard remains the auto hellscape it is. P.S. You're burning money and the planet. Another one. Mayor Snider, it's 11 a.m. on a Monday, and when I call City Hall, I get an answering machine. Just so you know, I pay taxes, which means you need to do your job and provide services when I need them. Apparently, the old saying, good enough for government, is true in Tigard. Number 5, Tigard. I hate to break it to you, but we have a serious acronym problem. Let's just try some of these out. ADU, GFOA, WAB, TCAC, TCDA, PRAB, TTSD, TTAC, TYAC, TVC-TV, TDA, and TTAD. Wow. Number 4, for the last time, I want to make this very clear, I cannot lawfully require an In-N-Out burger in Tigard, and I cannot ban storage units in Tigard. Number 3, all news isn't always good news. Remember the peacocks? June of this year. Interesting story. Initially, the city was blamed for murdering some peacocks. We actually weren't involved. We had to make that very clear. Number 2, Tigard became one of the most romantic cities the same year that I became mayor. Coincidence? I don't think so. And number 1 thing I learned in my first year as mayor, Frank Bubenek, City of Tualatin mayor, is much better looking when he's wearing a Tigard High School scarf.
go, quiet, and action.
Welcome to the 2020 Tigard State of the City Address. I want to...
And action.
After that interesting video, learning how many police our community thinks that we have, I want to welcome our next guest, Tigard Police Chief. Tell me about where to get the best donut in Tigard. Lots of the community views you as like the chief donut officer.
Okay, first of all, Mayor, I have to say you're dating yourself. And I know from your law enforcement, but remember, it's no longer coffee and donuts.
Oh, what is
it? It is croissants and lattes.
Oh.
So, you know, I hate to call you out like that, but that's what it is.
He's now recording for blooper reel purposes, I'm sure.
Don't worry about it. No, he would never do that.
No, he wouldn't do that.
No. We have a stunt double who's going to do your bloopers.
That's excellent. Can the stunt double serve as mayor?
From the Broadway Rose Theater in the heart of downtown Tigard.
It's actually Tigard.
Tigard.
Yeah.
From the Broadway Rose Theater in the heart of downtown Tigard, the city of Tigard.
It's Tigard.
Tigard.
Yep.
From the Broadway Rose Theater in the heart of downtown Tigard, the city of Tigard and TVC TV present Late Night in Tigard.